Winter was passing on the island of Sodor, but the cold weather didn't leave, leaving the island of Sodor white and sugar-coated with frost. Every winter, the North Western Railway carried out repairs to the permanent way, as it was the least busy season. One of the last things to be carried out this year was reballasting. Ballast is a white-grey rock that holds the track in place, but it decays due to the weather, so must be replaced every year. It's a tough job, which usually takes a long time. To stay on schedule, Donald and Douglas, the Scottish twins, each took it in turns to deliver a ballast train to James at the big station, so he could take it to where the work was taking place. One day, Donald took a load of ballast down to the yard as usual. He put it in a siding next to James, and then went to another siding so James could pass. But when he tried to slow down, his wheels just skidded on the frosty rails. Oh no! With a loud thud, Donald bashed into the buffers at the end of the siding. The buffers had stopped him, which is what they were for, but were badly damaged. Donald himself wasn't hurt, just rather shaken up. James had seen it happen.
Oh dear, Donald. Fancied a bit of ice skating, did you?
Donald could only look ashamed. For the rest of the day, the other engines teased Donald endlessly. You should sign up for the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, maybe you'd win a prize.
Donald wasn't bothered, laughing at the jokes himself, although he was worried about what the Fat Controller would say. Luckily, the Fat Controller wasn't mad, but he did warn the Scottish engine. Be more careful in future. We simply can't afford to have to do more repairs. We're late enough on our schedule as is. Aye, sir. Of course, sir. This put Donald at ease, but the teasing still continued. And no one teased Donald more than his twin, Douglas. Fancy slipping about like that. Typical you, Donald. Oh yeah? Fancy smashing up a brake van like you did. Hey, says the one who ran into a signal box. How'd you do that again? Oh yeah, by slipping. This would go on for some time. What? Hey, it isn't my fault for getting bad luck with the weather. Well, you should have been more careful, Donald. How many times have I had to rescue you now? Bah! I distinctly remember having to save you from a snowstorm. That was only because you got me stuck in it. I didn't. You did. I didn't. You did. Didn't. Did. Didn't. Did. A few days had passed, and the reballasting was coming to an end. Today's train will be the last one, Douglas. After that, we're mostly done with track repairs. Oh, great. I'm getting real tired of this job. I'd like a good rest. That afternoon, Douglas came in with the last ballast train. He put it on a siding next to where James was waiting. So, James, what are you gonna do after this job's over?
Get back to pulling passenger trains, I hope. I'm getting bored of doing the same things over and over. And besides, these trucks are a real pain some days.
Very much so. Even I have trouble with them sometimes. They've really worn out my brakes as of late.
Shouldn't you get that checked? that could become dangerous.
I will, after this job's over. Time to go. Cheerio!
Well, goodbye.
Douglas moved off towards the siding. At the end of it, 3 workmen had been working on the buffers. They were all standing to one side with paint cans beside them, having just finished painting the buffer bar bright red. That looks very smart. I bet the fat controller's glad Donald smashed it. Douglas's driver tried to put on the brakes, but nothing happened. He tried again, but they did nothing. Horrors! Douglas shouted. Get out of the way! I can't stop! Oh no, Whistling furiously, Douglas crashed face first into the new buffers. They had stopped him, as was intended, but Douglas had been going faster than Donald. Douglas had smashed straight through them. The workmen weren't pleased.
You clumsy engine! Look what you've done to our hard work!
It took us 3 days to fix those buffers. 3 days!
And look what you did to the paint!
The paint, which hadn't had time to dry, had decided it wanted to be on Douglas's face rather than on the wood. Big patches of red trickled down Douglas's face and smokebox as he lay on the ground. Then he heard a sound he dreaded. What in Godred's name is going on here? Soon, Douglas had been put back on the rails again. The fat controller was not pleased with him. Douglas, how did this happen?
Brakes failed, sir. They've been playing up recently.
I see. Why didn't you get them checked? I wanted to get this job done first, sir. I thought they were fine. I guess I was wrong. I guess you were. Brand new those buffers were. Now we've got to rebuild them again. The workmen won't like that. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sure you are. The fat controller turned around again and looked at Douglas. We'll leave the paint there for now, as a reminder to be more careful. Yes, sir. Oh, great. Come on then. Excuse me. Come on, laugh it up. I know you want to. I'm not going to. What? It's childish. And besides, I feel like we've been arguing too much lately. Oh. You're right. Sorry. It's okay. The red does look good on you though. Oh, you little... In another short 3 days, the buffers were repaired once more. The twins wouldn't have any more problems with the buffers, but they were always careful around that siding. Just in case. I still don't trust that brake van. Why? It hasn't been a problem recently, right? Well, no, but there's something about that thing that it just doesn't sit right with me. What do you mean? It's like that face. Every time it looks at me, I just feel like it's planning something.